Thank you for joining us today. And I also want to recognize my husband, the first Manny. He's behind me somewhere. My daughter, Taylor. My brother, Gregory. My niece, Chantel. I want to give a shout out to my daughter, Erin, my son-in-law, Ian, my grandchildren, Avery and Mason and Caden, who couldn't be with us today because they're all at work and school, where we want them to be. I'd also like to just say hello to my great Aunt Myrtle. And he is down there, Dave Contarino. All right, let's get started. So I really want to be excited and talk about 6 years of incredible success. So I want you to settle in. I want you to get comfortable, everybody, and we'll have somebody order dinner. All right, I'm joking. We're going to work really hard to get you out of here before dark. And I know that we start like this every year, but it helps us all to get into a rhythm. We're friends. We're colleagues. We care about each other. But it is important that we do talk about our shared achievements today. And there are many in education, in jobs, the environment, healthcare, and so much more. We've been making smart choices with record oil and gas revenues, including fortifying our general fund reserves and strengthening our pension funds. Now that work has led to incredible achievements and investments, but it's also prompted Moody's to upgrade New Mexico's credit outlook from stable to positive. Now for all you fiscal hawks, and we need them on both sides of the aisle, that is a big damn deal, and most states never achieve that with our investments. That is some of the best bipartisan work, if not the best bipartisan work in the country. And that means that we are poised for a bond rating upgrade, a reward for investing today and saving for tomorrow. But I also today want to focus on the places where we can do more. Public safety and child well-being, for example, need our action now. And we need, thank you, to talk about how we can and must continue improving the quality of life for every New Mexican. So the promise of this state reaches everyone who calls it home. Now that begins with a world-class cradle-to-career education system. Because we all know that a comprehensive, high-quality education sets the trajectory for success today, and more importantly, for decades to come. Now, that's why we established a first-in-the-nation constitutional right to child care. That's big. Universal pre-K and then free college for any resident who wants it. These efforts are an unprecedented commitment to New Mexico's young people. And in fact, it will pay dividends. Think big like the permanent fund. It will pay dividends for generations to come. Now this profound promise is why we're still working to deliver truly universal free childcare for all. In New Mexico, the cost of childcare is out of reach for most families, with many spending $3,000 per month or more to enroll just 2 kiddos. Now that's more than rent or a house payment for many, and it's shattering New Mexicans their household budgets. But because of our investment in free childcare, more than 30,000 New Mexico children are now getting the support that they and their parents need to succeed in their education and careers. We're close poquito close to realizing truly universal childcare in New Mexico. But we are not there yet. And that's why I'm calling on this legislature to finish the job. For $205 million more, we can make that promise, free childcare, real for every single New Mexico family. Let's become the first state in America to give every child the start they deserve with universal access to high-quality childcare today and for the future. Set the standard for America, New Mexico. We also know that a world-class education meets students where they are at every stage of their development. Now, together, we've launched a structured literacy program that teaches the science of reading, resulting in higher scores. Our summer literacy program enrolled nearly 10,000 students across the state. And the kids who participated this summer showed an amazing 11% increase in reading proficiency. 11%. And that's just one program in one summer. So don't tell me we can't do even more. We can. And with support from the legislature, we'll keep doing that and more for every child in every school every year from now on. Raising these achievement scores. We can, we must do it. So let's replicate these programs. I'm also calling on the legislature for a comprehensive math and STEM program to match our strides in literacy. New Mexico has an unrivaled history of scientific discovery and advancement. Our children deserve the tools to create a future as groundbreaking as our past. We understand that students must be in the classroom to reach their full academic potential. That's why last year I challenged districts across New Mexico to extend their school year to 180 days. And many rose to that challenge. School districts in Albuquerque, Farmington, and Hobbs are among those, the many that embraced the 180-day challenge. But to truly succeed, we need to fully fund the 180-day school year to guarantee that young people in every school get the attention and instruction that they need. All right, yeah. Parents with kids. Parents with kids. We also need to expand instructional opportunities through the summer. And we need to make the most of the time we have with kids in the classroom. That's why I'm proposing also incentives for schools that can ban cell phone use during school hours. I also want enhanced funding so that we're putting in place the required safety measures so that parents don't have to worry both about getting a hold of their kids in an emergency, but don't have to worry about their kids' safety while they're in school. Thank you. This is all good stuff. It's meaningful progress. But again, there's a whole lot more to do. I need this legislature to pass a bill this session, making our new Office of Special Education permanent, establishing consistent statewide standards for all K-12 students, and giving New Mexico special ed students the attention, quite frankly, they have always deserved. We've exponentially increased funding to schools for tribal students, but too often it does not reach these students. So now I'm asking for $50 million as an annual additional investment into the Indian Education Fund to deliver resources directly to tribes and pueblos instead of schools to assist students directly, especially those in special education, with out-of-school tutoring, behavioral health services, speech therapy, and other services that support them to succeed, and honors Indigenous language, culture, and traditions in those efforts. Just a sidebar and a quick shout out. I want to thank the leaders of our sovereign nations and many legislators who have been working all year long to figure out that vehicle and provide a proposal to the legislature that we believe will have enormous bipartisan support. So I want to thank everyone for that heavy lifting. Yes, sir, Representative, Mr. Chairman Lente. We can do this work together. Showing again, together is better. The work we're doing in education is shaping New Mexico's tomorrow, and it prepares our young people to one day establish stable and thriving families of their own. Free childcare, free pre-K, free school meals, free college, child tax credits, working families tax credits. We're delivering on fundamental financial security, and we are helping working families make ends meet right now. These investments are, in fact, paying off and changing lives. Just consider the deeply inspiring story of Mackenzie Saido, whose mother was murdered in rural New Mexico in 2016. Her father then died of a heart attack just 2 years later, just after her 18th birthday. Now, facing an incredibly uncertain future, Mackenzie stepped up and also assumed responsibility for her autistic and nonverbal younger brother. Full of determination, she also plotted a course for her own future. Mackenzie took advantage of New Mexico's Opportunity Scholarship, and just last month, graduated with a degree in psychology. And many of you might already know, she also managed to become our reigning Miss New Mexico. Stories like Mackenzie's validate our collective work on behalf of New Mexicans and inspire us, or at least it should, I think it does, to do even more, to educate our children, to lift up our workforce, and to combat the scourge of poverty. Now consider this. When you take into account the investments we've made in working families over the past several years, our poverty rate drops to 17th in the nation, better than the national average. It is actually monumental. 50th, 17, 2 years. Now, I know there are skeptics, and I encourage you, check the numbers out. Look at the latest U.S. Census Bureau data. Quite simply, these numbers don't lie. It's the report that is going to show that New Mexico knows how to get it done. And moving the needle this far, this fast on child poverty is so monumental and so historic an achievement that I want to just call out. We did this, the legislature, our bipartisan, effective, dedicated, direct work for New Mexicans, and thousands now, thousands of these families finally are breaking free from centuries-old cycles of generational poverty. We did this. But while fewer New Mexico children are living in poverty, those in the care of our Children, Youth, and Families Department deserve a whole lot more from all of us. The status quo in which any family in crisis is cut off from the help they need, or quite frankly, where the state lacks the authority to save a child's life, is simply unacceptable. All right? And I know there are a lot of proposals in the legislature, so thank you. But I have some ideas about where we can start, and we're going to make this a shared responsibility. First, let's start by fully funding CYFD. These departments have to have the resources and personnel it needs to do this important work. We can no longer ask social workers and others to manage huge caseloads. And when they do that, families and kids don't get the attention that they deserve. Right? Let's help them get what they need. In addition, fully funded, I'm proposing a new partnership with an independent, outside expert in child welfare and foster care, such as those experts at places like the Urban Institute, to evaluate CYFD's performance in conjunction with financial experts like our very own state auditor, and to report their findings to the executive and the legislative branches of this state every 6 months. All right? So we will know in real time what's going on. Now see, these regular reviews allow all of us to highlight successes, but to also identify where we are just not making the grade. It's not punitive to the department. It's a recognition that it's going to take real work and constant effort to do right by these kids and families. So let's do that, and let's have the adjustments that we need in real time, all the time, every day, every year. You can clap for that. I have another one. I'm also calling for a new independent child protection authority, jointly appointed by the legislature and the executive, that will ensure CYFD adequately resolves all complaints from families and parents. Another indicator about what's happening or not happening. And the truth is that there are far too many people that may be afraid to report complaints directly to the department that provides you the services. But the authority will have another avenue, another way to inform us about threats to child well-being. I think you should clap for that. Even if this tool gets modifications, we are debating the tools for success. That is exactly what it's going to take to deal with these issues productively. Again, and additionally, we're moving the responsibility of CARA, the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act set of services that help pregnant mothers and newborns affected by substance abuse, into the Department of Health, where public health experts are best equipped to support families with drug-addicted babies. But the truth is, too many families do not adhere to the spirit of that program. That's why I believe it's time to make these interventions mandatory for these families. Now, to be clear, we've gained ground at CYFD, particularly over the past year. And I'm going to stop. A lot of legislators on both sides of the aisle are also responsible for that success by patiently investing time and energy to that department and the staff through interim committees and related work. And I want to congratulate you for that. These are easy areas to just lay blame and point fingers. That never helps any of these families. But you didn't do that. Well, yeah, we're going to clap in a minute. You resisted the temptations, so did we, to let anger or hostility or disappointment interfere with the ability to be a bit more clear-minded about what we need to do here. I thank you, because this year, let's talk about those successes. We cleared, frankly, it was a decade-old backlog of cases. We reduced office stays, doubling the agency's outreach to families in need of supportive services, and we are expanding access every day to behavioral health assistance. But no question, there is a whole lot more to do, and we, together, none of us are willing to wait. We didn't do that this last year, and we're not going to do it during this 60-day session. I thank you. And to round it up, I got a couple of more things for CYFD and aging. I want to increase the availability of safe and stable homes for the kids most at risk in New Mexico. So, thank you. And in addition, I want to get, these are good. Gregory, just hang on. My brother, he gets so excited. I'm introducing 2 new proposals that support families that foster children and grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. Too many of these families are struggling to afford basic, everyday needs. So today, I'm proposing to exempt these families from personal income tax. And I want to double their stipend support up to, and if you want to make it bigger, go right ahead, $900 extra per month per child, minimum. These families are the bedrock of our foster care system. I say, if you're stepping up for kids in need in this state, we're going to make it far easier for you to support them in the way we all desire these families to be supported. It's time.
Hear, hear.
While managing foster care is uniquely challenging, the health and well-being of all New Mexico children and families has always been among my highest priorities. And over the last 6 years, together, we've worked at every single session to improve the overall health and care of everyone in every community. Now, that includes creating access to good-paying, homegrown New Mexico jobs that enable families to climb higher on the economic ladder. Today, New Mexico has the largest number of jobs in its history. We've added more than 134,000 jobs in the past 4.5 years. In the last 2 years, we cut the employment gap in half. Our wages are rising faster than in any other state in America, and new jobs are growing fastest in future-focused industries on the cutting edge of our economy. Thank you. Advanced manufacturing, air and water purification, solar and wind farms that are powering our state. And as new industries like quantum technology emerge on the horizon, we're making sure that they call New Mexico home. Today, I'm proud to announce that Quantinuum, I don't think I said that right. I said it right every time until just now. Quantinuum, the world's largest integrated quantum computing company, is establishing a major research and development presence here in New Mexico, anchoring our state as a leader in this projected $3.5 trillion industry. And 2 of their corporate leaders, Susan and Kanaya, will you guys stand? are here with us today celebrating this announcement. Achievements like these are a reminder that here in New Mexico, we don't just embrace the future, we build it. We've always been at the forefront of national challenges, showing up with our trademark innovation and ingenuity. That spirit of creativity and resilience is as vital today as it's ever been, especially as we confront the growing threat of climate change. We've all seen the devastating coverage of wildfires ravaging Los Angeles. And of course, fires spurred by climate change have also ravaged communities in our state, testing our patience and our resilience as we struggle under the weight of natural disasters in our own backyards. And as if the fires themselves and the flooding after aren't difficult enough, getting insurance protection is becoming impossible, either because it's simply no longer available or it's exorbitantly expensive. So today, I'm proposing a state-sponsored fire insurance program outside the private market, a risk-based model to protect families and their homes and to help make people whole when tragedy strikes. No New Mexican should be priced out of a fire insurance policy. I think we have an opportunity and a responsibility to look ahead and to do more. And that's why I'm proposing again a strategic water supply. Now, our state, like so many others, is facing a severe water shortage, and climate change is only making the problem worse. Yet, we have enormous reserves of brackish water lying beneath our feet. And we have massive amounts of industrial water that is being injected right back into the ground. Now, let's build the technology to clean up that industrial water rather than pollute our aquifers. Thank you. This recycled resource can be used for clean energy projects, advanced manufacturing, data centers. Brackish water can even put out wildfires in our urban areas. The opportunity here is massive. And let me be clear, and I probably wasn't as clear as we needed to be. I suggest for the strategic water supply that state lawmakers spell it out in statute. Recycled industrial water will not be used for human or animal consumption or to irrigate our crops, period. Ever, never. Put it in there. Make it bigger. We can spur innovation. We can create good jobs. We can eliminate pollution from forever chemicals and uranium. We can protect all of our communities all at once to a much higher degree from natural disasters, all while preserving our essential fresh water supplies for growing our crops and servicing the taps in our homes. We can do both. And in New Mexico, we know how. We've shown that we can combine sustainability with innovation and economic growth. And right now, New Mexico's fully engaged in leading a national energy transition. We're cleaning up our communities, we're reducing our carbon footprint, and we're making good on our commitment to reduce emissions. So, let's have this 60-day session. This is the session where we put in statute net zero emissions by 2050. We can do it. Get it done. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You guys can do it. That's going to take real work. You can do it. There's the pro tem. Right there, she can do it. We can do it. And I challenge you, put that in statute, and then, the last 30-day session, we'll make sure that we're net negative by 2050, right? I mean, we have the power, the resources, we're smart enough, we're good enough to do the kind of bold innovation that most states just aren't nimble enough to address. That's not who we are. Let's show it to everybody else. All right? These kinds of clean energy initiatives are actually creating jobs and helping to grow our economy right now. And in fact, with us here today in the chamber are Kylie Brunetto, I'm going to have them all stand, Paul Tacoro, Gustavo Morena, and Amanda Sandoval. Now, they're working in New Mexico's oil patch. And here's what they do. They capture and contain climate warming methane gases, where our oil and gas industry is leading the nation. And it's these people, these bright, young, amazing workers who are getting that done. I'm going to make you stay standing, if you don't mind. I really can't boss them around. Joanna Chavez and Jake Sarn are also with us. And they're taking a break from their jobs as well today. And here's what they do. They're helping to harness New Mexico's clean wind and solar power. This is the workforce that gets us to net zero and builds our clean energy future. Let's give them another round of applause. And as our economy and workforce grow, we need to build them new homes and apartments to drive down the cost of living. Now, we've kicked off redevelopment at the New Mexico State Fairgrounds. That's more than 200 acres of land right in the center of the largest city in the state, ready to become a world-class live, work, and play neighborhood that will transform the quality of life for our friends and families in Albuquerque. Also, right now, there are 20,000 planned housing units across the state. Tierra Contenta in Santa Fe, Amador Crossing in Las Cruces, Aldea del Rio in the South Valley. But before you clap, far too often, these housing developments like these are stalled, and frankly, they are never finished. We must remove the barriers with regulatory and zoning changes to make home building easier. Makes no sense. It's no sense. So to aid in that effort, I also propose putting $50 million into development subsidies to build houses for people who are priced out, making home buying more affordable in New Mexico, as well as providing for capital investments in roads and water systems to accelerate the development of affordable housing. And finally, we need a state office of housing to make sure that the best laid housing plans are not stranded, and we need the expertise so that we invest in these areas until all of us see, frankly, scores of families unloading U-Haul boxes into new homes and apartments all across this beautiful state. Let's get it done. Now, building more housing is critical, but it's not always enough, especially for folks who find themselves unhoused. Now, if we're really committed to getting our unhoused populations off the streets and back on their feet, then we also need high-fidelity services that are available 24/7, from medication-assisted treatment to temporary housing to job training. So today, I'm asking the legislature for $50 million just focused to fight homelessness. with dedicated services that lift individuals up and help them become stable, productive members of society. Addressing homelessness strengthens our communities, and frankly, it matters to every single person living in this state. Which takes us to everyone in this room knows that crime is out of control in New Mexico. And even our public safety professionals agree we're in a state of crisis. Too many of us simply don't feel safe in our communities, and that is absolutely, frankly, completely unacceptable. Right? You can clap for that. It's unacceptable. Today, right now, more than 1/3 of New Mexicans, a third of us, say that they have been the victim of a serious crime. The violent crime rate in New Mexico is twice the national average. Addiction is rampant, and we're clearly, all of us, struggling to protect New Mexicans from this madness. So my administration, with your help, has already invested, frankly, more than $1.5 billion in personnel and equipment for police departments. And thank you, and I'm looking right at Sheriff Allen, and they're putting it to good use. They all are, in every jurisdiction in the country, in the state. And we will gladly ask and spend more. But money alone is not enough. We need, thank you, we need changes to our laws right now to hold repeat violent offenders accountable. It's time. So I'm calling on all of us, calling on the legislature to take action now, to toughen penalties for felons who will legally possess firearms that often end up in the hands of kids and teens, to tighten sentencing for criminals who traffic deadly drugs like fentanyl, to compel humane civil commitment for those who need treatment the most, and to reform criminal competency laws that let too many dangerous people remain on the streets. These are really just common sense solutions that will keep families safer and will reduce violent crime. How do I know that? Because they've moved the needle, they've made the difference in so many states that have already adopted them. I know too that businesses are bearing the brunt of these flawed policies as burglaries, shoplifting, and property damage force businesses of all sizes to hire private security firms. It's crushing their bottom lines. It's constricting economic growth in our communities as pharmacies and restaurants and mom and pop stores struggle to keep their doors open. Frankly, they close, and they're struggling to keep their customers and their workers safe. So, I'm proposing a new tax rebate to help businesses foot the cost of security personnel and equipment until we can get our crime epidemic under control. Business owners investing in their properties to repel burglars and to keep their employees safe should know that everyone here has their backs. And why? Why do so many members of our communities feel as if they're under siege? It's in part because more than 3,500 dangerous repeat offenders with rap sheets totaling nearly 6,000 felonies have been released back into our communities. It's also because we're not compelling those in the clutches of addiction with the most serious behavioral health issues to get the help they need. Saving lives and supporting families is clearly warranted in these extreme circumstances where the least restrictive interventions simply do not work. And we must make sure we don't exclude people from life-saving treatment while investing boldly in a system for those who need it. The state, and I think the legislature is pretty well postured and poised to do it, the state has a duty to provide a fully supported behavioral health system that meets New Mexicans where they are. Thank you, Leader Worth. And the House, and everyone. We need long-term addiction support services and comprehensive efforts to reduce homelessness. We must do better at keeping drugs like fentanyl off our streets and reduce recidivism. But we shouldn't let these long-term needs from preventing us from taking action today. We need to do both. With the time we have left today, let's turn quickly to healthcare, because it looks like it might be dinner time. Look, thank you for our new healthcare authority. That's amazing, brilliant, and thank you. And they're leading the charge. Look, we've increased Medicaid provider rates to among the nation's highest. It's already resulted in more than 2,700 new providers joining the Medicaid program just since July. We together created a healthcare affordability fund that today covers about 65,000 New Mexicans. We've expanded the healthcare professional loan repayment program, which now supports more than 1,200 healthcare providers living and practicing in New Mexico. 6 years ago, that number was 22. They're working. It's working. Our Rural Healthcare Delivery Fund delivered more than $80 million for new and expanded primary care, behavioral health, maternal child health, and specialty care services into our rural communities. And this month, we launched certified community behavioral health clinics serving 7 counties across New Mexico. In March, we'll be sending more than $1 billion in new funding to our hospitals through the Medicaid provider tax, supporting all our hospitals, but shoring up and saving our at-risk rural hospitals statewide. These investments are a lifeline for our healthcare system, and we can't let up now. That's why I'm calling for an additional $50 million for the Rural Healthcare Delivery Fund and $100 million for behavioral health expansion initiatives. And I want to thank the legislature in advance for your incredible commitment to continuing to invest in rebuilding our healthcare delivery system. We're making a better healthcare system in New Mexico. We're doing it. Numbers don't lie. But talk to any New Mexican in a doctor's office, or frankly, anyone in this room, and they'll tell you it's not enough. There's still a long wait for appointments. Patients are still driving long distances to see a specialist. And healthcare leaders are clear that the cost of medical malpractice insurance is a significant barrier to recruiting and retaining the providers we need. That's why I'm proposing another state-sponsored medical malpractice insurance program. Insurance rates for doctors and healthcare providers shouldn't be higher here than they are in our neighboring states. And they most certainly shouldn't be twice the national average. Twice. So let's create a healthcare landscape that attracts the best providers in the country right here. Let's do it. So, clearly, there's a lot of work left to do. But that's why we are all here today, to make life better for New Mexicans and to stand up for the people in our communities. And we have shown over and over again that New Mexico's past need not predict its future. We've made incredible progress with big, bold initiatives that have laid the foundation for enduring generational change. We may not always agree, but we can continue to agree that we can work together for the people we collectively serve. What we do in this session can and should cement our collective and enduring legacy of lifting up all New Mexicans. That's a clapping thing. And let me also say that in this journey, and I'm not done, I got 2 years, don't get excited. Don't get too excited. I've been blessed to work with the best lieutenant governor in the country. He was helping me with the speech. I didn't let him see that part. And I know that you're ready to be done, but he is incredible. He's a powerful voice for New Mexicans on, frankly, every issue we've faced. And he's been through some incredible challenges. So I know he's right there behind me, always usually by my side. I just want you to know I thank Howie for his service to the state and the administration. And again, we're here for 2 more years. And if you'll also join with me, as you always do, to contribute your energy, your ideas, your action into this bold partnership, I have no doubt we can and will continue to improve the quality of life for everyone in this state. And as I close today, do not clap for that. As I close today, I gotta watch these guys. Okay. As I close today, I do want to return to the pressing issue of making New Mexico safe for every citizen. I do. I recognize the issues that plague us are rooted in poverty and inequality and generational challenges, long neglected. This speech, and in fact my entire tenure, has been committed, my entire career, to fighting these scourges. And we have come so far together. But our crime problem destabilizes the very communities we seek to empower. It threatens the very prosperity of our state in which we have invested so much. As you know, it is a small but significant group of repeat offenders and criminals who wreak a large percentage of the havoc on our people and our businesses. We must not let this continue. We need the tools to overcome this challenge. And I know that we can do so while respecting civil rights and to protect the right of every family to live safely, the right of small businesses to conduct commerce securely, and the rights of our children to grow up in communities free from danger. So let's double down on our achievements and let's expand their reach. Let's protect our achievements and let's ensure their effectiveness. Let's extend the promise of New Mexico to every corner of our state. And let's guarantee that collective and enduring legacy for which we have all fought so hard. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the great state of New Mexico.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham.